Hello and welcome to Marketing Speak. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, and today it's my pleasure to have Ticiano Sgarbi with us. Ticiano is an SEO practitioner and founder of Sgarbi Digital Marketing. A language enthusiast since he was a child, Ticiano found another way to explore languages, multilingual SEO. Born bilingual and learning to code at an early age, Ticiano speaks 6 languages. He loves exploring the link between languages and emotions. Ticiano, it's so great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So we know each other through Abundance 360, Peter Diamandis' mastermind, and
Right.
yeah, we've been friends for several years now. So I'd love to start off by maybe sharing with our listener or viewer, what is it about the Abundance 360 mastermind and Abundance Digital, like the whole kind of futurist thing that interests you, inspires you? I'm curious to hear what brought you to be part of that community and what keeps you there.
Well, as you touched on A360 right away, and as Peter Diamandis says, I mean, we have the main TV channels in the world that people watch, the Crisis News Network and the Fox one. He doesn't mention the acronym for that, but it's just about bad news, right? And our brains are kind of wired to pay more attention to danger for survival reasons, but we are living the most extraordinary time of all times, and there is so much going on right now. Extraordinary discoveries. Science is making huge leaps ahead, and in every field we look, there are great things happening. And so in this mastermind, we are every week getting in touch with new startups, new content, new technologies, new possibilities that we can use to impact the world, to use for our business, for our communities, for our countries, and that is an exciting perspective to be living in. So that's why. And of course, we get to know each other there, and you get like-minded people. So you replicate things on each other. And so it's like kind of raising the volume of that as well.
Yep. I totally I resonate with what you're saying, and the like-minded people. I mean, that's what draws me to be part of masterminds, is to find really cool, interesting people who have big plans, to change the world, make the world a better place. And one thing I learned about from Abundance 360 and Peter Diamandis was this concept of an MTP, Massively Transformational Purpose. And mine is to elevate the consciousness of humanity. I know that's a big goal, a big MTP, but I'm curious to hear what your MTP is and how it ties in to what you do on a day-to-day basis.
That's a big question. MTP is always something big. I'm still working on that. And I think, as you mentioned on the intro, it has to do with emotions and languages, which is something I've been working with. And we actually know so little about ourselves, and we use words, and which is a language, but that is so often not enough to communicate. And we have our bodies, we can give signs, and now we are in a video call. But even when we are face to face, we can use some more, but it's not enough. And what is that we can, broadcast to each other? We can communicate, that can send this message that it's not written. There is something there, a smile, an energy, some would say. So I started working with some AI in the emotion field, but we are just scratching the surface, and we know pretty much nothing. So it's great possibilities ahead to develop that. And my MTP should be somewhere around that, but I'm still working on that.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to come up with. And then he has this different thing he calls the moonshot, which kind of follows from the MTP. You identify what your massively transformational purpose is, and then you figure out what your moonshot is based on that. So maybe a moonshot that relates to my MTP, for example, of elevating the consciousness of humanity, would be to have a book that sells millions and millions of copies and changes a lot of people's lives and helps inspire them and turn them into more of who they are meant to be, or inspires them to become who they're meant to be in this incarnation. So that's just one example of a moonshot. You can have plenty of other moonshots, but I'm curious, do you have a moonshot? I know you're working on your MTP and you're probably supposed to come up with that first, but what's a big dream goal that you have that you're working on?
Peter teaches us that it should be something that a kind of dream you had when you was a child. And I have this dream of understanding, and understanding goes 360, if I may say like that. And understanding, like the moonshot would be that we could understand each other in a broad way, really understanding, because so many conflicts rise from that gap of communication, and we lack still in a big way to understand each other's point of views. And we are all on the same boat on this planet, soon in other planets, but and we are not being efficient on that. And if we could communicate and understand each other perfectly, that could be a wonderful moonshot for me.
Yeah. There's something I learned in Kabbalah. It's like, and I know we're getting a little out there metaphysical, but that understanding can actually interfere with wisdom. So if we're trying to understand everything, then we might miss the wisdom that is the gift from above, that isn't something we can just power through and earn. Power through and just do on our own. Wisdom really does come as a gift. So I don't know. I was inspired to mention that because understanding used to be something I was always craving, to understand everything, learn. I still love learning. It's one of my top 5 strengths and strengths finder, but it can be a trap. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you do have a point there, Stephan. Just understanding can be rough in a way. And I think emotions, let's put it in a plain way, like using the heart, those are feelings that maybe they make us human, full humans, and maybe it's more connected to the wisdom you're mentioning. It's not something you can just, set a code or a program or, anything with math. It's above, beyond that. And to fully understand emotions, maybe we have to feel, to use our senses in a way. And wisdom, I think it comes when we master not only the techniques, but the not written things, the things we feel, the things with intuition comes here. A lot of people have guidance from other places in multiple ways, and to piece all that together, that might be wisdom. That's how I see, and that might make our journey here more fulfilling for everyone else. And emotions are a part of that as well.
Yeah. So what is intuition for you, and how does it play into your daily life, into the SEO work that you do, the marketing work, the consulting work? How does intuition show up for you?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. It's a great, crazy question, because now we are mixing the logical with the non-logical elements here. And I've been my own experiences in my life, and I learned enough to know that when I hear the call, I have to follow it. I can drop any thought I have, any conviction, any point of view. When I hear it, I just go for it. And there are different levels. I mean, I'm talking from my experience now, not about the concept. Generally speaking, I'm a very mind-oriented person, like being very logical. But as we were mentioning before about wisdom, I think we need to integrate also the feelings, also the non-written rules in whatever we are doing, which makes it more comprehensive. Sometimes we are doing something and we just got this self-dialogue, this input to do something. I would say this is a first level of intuition, and it's most of times it works just fine. Sometimes it doesn't, but then we get to know why later. Usually it's like that. And there is a second one, which is the call. Sometimes I just hear that voice saying something to me. And usually, by the way, it's not even related to myself. It's something that I should do, it's something that I should do for someone or for something, and I just do it. When you get that message, I mean, we cannot deny it. So we just go for it. And it's a very practical, I would say, concept, but you just feel it actually, because we can't measure that so far. Maybe we get to there, someone. And that's a broader intuition, maybe the higher faculties of our soul, of our consciousness, if you will. There are multiple angles here that we can get in touch in different ways. So yeah, and it's available for everyone. I think we just have to allow ourselves to go there and learn and to try it out, and it works.
Yeah, it sure does. And if you go against your intuition, oh, here comes the pain.
Right. You're so right. That's the kind of typical situation when you believe to do the right thing, but it feels wrong for you. And when that happens, I don't do it, because if it sounds wrong for me, there's something else that I can explain to myself, but it's there, it's present. So I'm aware of that, and I change my decision based on that, because it's an important element here as well.
Yeah. And to follow the nudges that you get, it's so critical to your soul mission, to fulfilling whatever your soul contracts are, to your mission on this earth. So if you ignore those nudges, like somebody, like a homeless person is, I don't know, just standing out to you, kind of somebody that you feel like, I need to pull the car over, get out of my car, and give that particular person money. I don't know why, but that's the nudge. You got to follow it. I mean, it's really important.
Yeah, right. It's exactly how it happens. This is a typical one. Another one that happens so often to me, you can go two ways to some place, and then you used to go to do one on one of the roads, and then you just hear, no, today you should go that way, and something happens there, so you just follow your intuition. And you mentioned SEO before. That happens also in the daily work. Sometimes you're trying to understand what's going on here in this SERP or this particular page. Why is it ranking so high? Because it's clearly, out of the curve, and so your intuition kicks in here, because okay, we have tools, we can have metrics, but sometimes you have to, as you mentioned, pay attention to the nudges and just explore that, and then you can get metrics and you can get data and it can get explained. But the first insight, it comes from like nowhere. We can explain, and quite often, I would say in SEO, we have a lot of science behind it already. You have a great book about that, by the way, and but we still, like, even Google is the main search engine, makes mistakes sometimes, and they can't quite explain why something is happening. So, and we have to deal with all that. So nudges are very important as well.
Mm-hmm. And also you get these synchronicities that happen, that just out of the blue, something happens to set you up for success. Like you happen across a particular tool or resource or example or strategy, and it's right before the meeting, and you just know that that's meant for you and meant for your client. Like an example is I found an incredible book trailer on Jessica Simpson's website. Her book is called Open Book, and that book trailer is amazing. It is the best example of a book trailer I've seen, like a video explainer type video, but done in such an authentic and heartwarming and raw and real sort of way. And I have multiple clients who are working on their books right now that'll be launching imminently, and I was able to share that example book trailer with them, and I believe they're going to use it as kind of a north star of what to accomplish, and not just the strategy of do a book trailer as part of your book launch, but here is an amazing example. And so that stuff can happen all the time. You just have to let it in and acknowledge it and appreciate it, and then more will come. So I don't know if you ever get that. I'm sure you probably do.
Yes, I do. I mean, that's the most beautiful thing I think it can happen to you in a daily basis, because you're not quite looking at it, but it just happens, and it shows the elegance and harmony of the beauty of the universe. It's just in front of you. And usually those synchronicities are so specific, they are so perfect that it's even so hard to explain to anyone else, because it's matching so many things at a deeper level in ourselves, like in our heart, in our thoughts. And no one can actually understand it fully. We can give an idea of it, but it's something that it resonates deeply with us, and it's pure joy when that happens, and it's telling you are going somewhere, and you are in touch with something. I mean, as this is a marketing podcast and we work with keywords, I think there's a beautiful keyword here, which is pronoia. That concept that the universe is working for you all the time. And instead of being paranoid and thinking that people and companies are doing something against you, the universe is just working for you, for the best to happen for you. And that's the pronoia. So I love that keyword. And the synchronicities are just a way for this pronoia to manifest in our lives. And of course, when that happens, you are in a state of grace, and that reinforces everything you're doing, and you just keep tuning in more and more to what you're doing, because you're seeing something is going on. You cannot deny, because it's just in front of you. So yeah, it does happen. Synchronicities in multiple levels. It's about work, it's about life, it's about even in dreams sometimes.
Yeah, I've gotten some incredible messages, ideas, innovations, and things through dreams. Incredible experiences, life-changing insights. Yeah, it's really cool.
One of the most common things that we can call synchronicities, but is that thing you don't listen from anyone, from someone better said, for I don't know, for a month or two, and you're thinking about that person, and that person just calls you, like you just outreach it mentally, and then you said, of course, you just was thinking about you, of course you would call, and vice versa, of course. So this is the kind of synchronicity that shows that we are in connection. Actually, we are not. The separation is an illusion of our senses here on this planet, but we are connected at a deeper level, and things are there just to reaffirm our connection.
Yeah, that just happened this morning for me. It happens a lot, but
Cool.
this is a great example. A prospect from years ago, I just felt the nudge to reach out to. I did a quick check on their organic traffic levels and Ahrefs, sent a screenshot and mentioned that it's a downward slide that isn't looking too good, and can I be of assistance? And she answered right away saying, truly wonderful to hear from you. I hope you and your family are doing well. I was just looking at your book that is sitting on our office shelf yesterday and was thinking of you. I appreciate you reaching out to us. We're indeed in the middle of blah, blah, blah. So that is pretty cool. That's a fun example of a synchronicity that is, sales related, but also it's more of a bigger picture that we're all connected. We're all connected. It's not like we're just dealing with clients and prospects. I learned this from one of my teachers, a spiritual teacher. She teaches Akashic Records reading, Anne-Marie Pizarro, and she refers to someone's clients as their assigned group. So you're meant to work with these people. It's like part of a soul contract that a certain client, you're going to change that person's life or that person's business, or you're going to say something, recommend a resource, a book, or something that is going to change their lives. And it's meant to be. It's meant to be. It's already written. I learned that concept from the book The Alchemist, which is a fantastic book. And
from Paulo Coelho.
Yeah. And the concept in Arabic is maktub. Maktub means it is written. It's mentioned in the Quran, but it's a universal law that everything is already predetermined. It's like you're playing out a role in a movie. You're acting in a movie and you don't even realize it. And all the stuff is already predetermined. You're going to stub your toe next Tuesday. You're going to happen to meet somebody because you missed the train, and then they're going to be sitting on the platform, and you're going to strike up a conversation, and it's going to be your next business partner. Like, all these things are already written. And then people ask, well, where's free will then? I thought we have free will. Free will is when you do something extraordinarily outside of your normal state of being. Like, if you're normally the kind of person who gives a few dollars to a homeless person, and stretching outside of your comfort zone, being more proactive, is maybe giving them $100 or giving them the money and striking up a conversation, or asking the person's name and then remembering it so the next time you see them, you greet them by name. This is a homeless person who is a soul and not just somebody to dismissively throw some money at. And those sorts of things give you a timeline upgrade. So I don't know if that sounds too out there for you, but I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are about it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture, what you just described it. I mean, I do. This goes a bit into the belief field now, but I do believe we are energy, and we are having an experience here with our bodies, but we are essentially our energy. And that homeless person you just saluted, but calling this person by his her name is like acknowledging actually the energy that is behind that body that maybe is not very well taken care here and now, but it's just acknowledging this bigger network we are part of. And it's just about energy, and energy doesn't need anybody, actually. It doesn't need to be anywhere. It just doesn't need to be in any time. It's just is all we have. And in that field, everything is possible. It's just waves of energy that can collapse into matter in a lower vibration here in this field. So if you go there, we can more simply say go quantum. We can tap in into bigger sources of energy, and powerful things can happen in very unpredictable way. We can explain from our human perspective, but we just have to allow ourselves to go there and smile to that person that maybe no one does, and opening up for possibilities, for surprises to show up. And we usually are very busy and running behind the machine to make things happen, and to be on time with our schedules, and we just don't realize how important that is. And it's at a fundamental level, which is energy, that commands matter, not the other the matter commanding energy. So
it's like it's not seeing to believe, but believing to see, right? Seeing is believing. It's actually believing is seeing. So you get what you put out there from your thoughts. You turn thoughts into things, but not in just a purely physical kind of, I have an idea for, I don't know, a tree house, and I'm going to envision it in my mind, and I'm going to start building it in my backyard for my kid. It's much more of that kind of woo-woo manifesting, like you're going to create your own reality, co-create it with the creator, with your higher power, because you're envisioning a bigger, brighter future for yourself and for others.
Exactly. And here we can operate in both tracks. As we are talking, we can do about, just hearing you just came to my mind. We can do that from the energy perspective, but also, and we come back to A360, like the abundance mindset here, we can see the world the way we want, actually, this physical world, and we can see all the beauty and the joy and the growth we are having. Like there are records, positive records in every single field we can think about, or we can just look at the bad news we have, and we always had, and I think in the future we will have. So if you combine, I think, the physical perspective, like creating, being in charge of our destiny, and which is not fully at our disposal. I mean, we cannot do everything, but we can set our mindset for how we see the world, and then we do take action on that perspective, adding the energy concept of that. I mean, the deeper one, I think our chances of succeeding in whatever we try are pretty good, and we will enjoy the ride also.
Yes. So I'm curious to hear if you have an example of some really powerful synchronicity or intuition or serendipity, something that just really stands out in your mind. And I'll just give you a quick example for me.
Mm-hmm.
This happened a couple months ago at the Genius Network annual event, and I was there to speak, and I brought my wife Orion and my little son, 2-year-old son, and we were at the airport arriving into Phoenix, and we rented a car. Then we noticed a oil light on the dashboard after leaving the facility, after leaving the car rental place. So that meant going all the way back through, rechecking dropping the car off and waiting. Like, it added an extra hour, just noticing that a minute too late. But it was meant to be, because what happened after that is, while we were waiting for an hour for the car to get swapped out and everything, was we ran into some friends. Sachin Patel, who was a guest on my other podcast on Get Yourself Optimized, and his wife Deepa, were waiting at the thrifty car rental. But I wouldn't have seen them. We wouldn't have seen them or run into them if we hadn't had the issue with the car and brought it all the way back. So that for me was a pretty clear sign that out of all, like, this is a large airport, and yes, there were other people coming to that conference. And so it was possible that we could have bumped into them just by random chance, but I don't believe in anything being random. And so we made plans to meet up. Like, can we catch a dinner together or a lunch or whatever? Well, it didn't end up working out. And I completely forgot about it. So we didn't end up meeting for dinner that night, even though we tried. And then the event happened and finished, and everybody left, and it just didn't dawn on me. So then we drive a couple hours away to Sedona. Amazing energy there, powerful vortexes. They're in the middle of nowhere on a rock. And guess who says, "Hey, Stephan, Orion, what are you guys doing here?" Yeah. Sachin and Deepa. Like, what are the odds? What are the odds? So we ended up having lunch. We had a really deep conversation about spirituality and stuff. And that was meant to happen. Right? It was already written. And it was like, I can envision it like a magnetic track. When you are going through life, things just kind of get drawn to you, as long as you're working to benevolent ends and you're being kind and loving. Just stuff gets attracted to your field. And I just think that was an amazing example. I'm curious to hear if you have any cool examples that stick out.
It's a beautiful example you just brought, and thanks for that. I mean, it happens every day, and sometimes it's even, I mean, I have a journal and I take notes of those, usually, and sometimes they are small, sometimes they're bigger. Two come into my mind now. Some days ago, I usually meditate every morning for 90 minutes, and I just want to be present in the energy and to create my day, and most of all to be present throughout the day when things are happening, because it's so easy to just slide, and rush and be worried or too concerned about things. And so to keep that elegance and balance throughout the day, so just letting go and things will work out. And that particular day, of course, it's easier said than done. And some days I really struggle. And that day some days ago, a couple of weeks ago, I was feeling disconnected. That was the thing I was feeling, disconnection from everything. And, those days you do things and nothing's working, what's going on. And then you just mentioned Genius Network, and the example came to my mind. I subscribe at the Joe Polish newsletter, and I just got a mail from him saying, "Are you connected?" And when I saw that, I say, "Okay, just got the message, And this is the kind of synchronicity, and it's a pretty small one if you want, but then his copy is more than perfect, and it's good, and inspired me that day, to reconnect. Like it came from him, and by mail. I just remember another one now. I think 1 month ago that happened. We have a meditation and study group we do every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Most of the folks are from San Diego, and we just study the materials and we discuss a little bit, and then we meditate together. And after the session, I felt this compelling reason I never did before, but that is intuition. I just heard, just send to Lauren this video. It's a testimonial from someone that made it to walk again, and she's struggling a lot to walk. And she was about to have some surgeries, but I didn't know the video. I just felt the call, send this video to her. And so I did. And then I watched it later. That video was about another woman from Oregon. And she used to go hiking in Oregon. And I sent to Lauren, and then I got an email half an hour later. She wrote basically, I'm in tears. I used to hike in Oregon for my whole life, and I didn't know that. And now you just sent me a video of someone that recovered from doing some healing and some studies and some meditation. And that person is hiking again, and at the very same place I want to hike again because I saw in the video. And so this is the kind, I was just a channel for that to happen. I just allowed it by not doubting of that to happen. So of course, when that happens, you just feel joy of being alive and being of help for other beings, for your brothers and sisters. And that is the elegance that it's the most interesting thing I think we can have in our days.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. That reminds me of something I read in a book called "You Were Born for This" by Bruce Wilkinson. And the idea is pretty simple, that if you ask to be a delivery person for God's miracles, then you'll get those opportunities. So you just need to volunteer. It's like, I think from the book of Isaiah in the Bible, there is a section where Isaiah is in front of, he's at the feet of God, and he's also witnessing essentially like a board meeting between archangels and God, and who's going to deliver which miracles to which people and so forth. And Isaiah's there, and he's raising his hand, is saying, "Here I am, Lord, please send me." And you can do that. You can say, "Here I am, please send me." And then you'll get more of those opportunities where it's like, I just feel like inspired to say a particular thing, or to send a particular video, or to share some resource, and changes their lives. It is a full-blown miracle. So yeah, just ask.
Yeah. And I think that's the magnificence of the universe just showing up, and we have to surrender. And it's hard sometimes because we can be so attached to our own senses, to the reasoning thing. And some things we at this present state we are as human beings here, we cannot fully understand, we cannot grasp fully. So it's just about acknowledging and surrendering and just letting it be through ourselves, and that's the way, because otherwise we have no technology or tools to manage that. But it is just allowing and not being an obstacle for that to happen. And it takes, I think, practice. It's something we just have to try it out. It's not something we can even be like go to school and learn. It's just it's something innate to us. Just get we have some good books, some good teachings, but we have most of all to try it out, to practice. And then magic can happen. And when it happens, I'm sure the listeners had some of those as well. It's just pure bliss, and you don't want anything else. It's the full meal you can get from the universe.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so allowing not being an obstacle, I'd say that also includes just not trying to do it all on your own. If you recognize, acknowledge, and work with the Creator, and not just try to power through it on your own, right? So recognize this as there's a much bigger picture going on. And in Kabbalah, they talk about the 1% reality and the 99% reality, where in the 1% reality, we only see a fraction of what the larger, what the bigger picture is. And so if we just go through our day kind of aware of the fact there's this 99% of what's out there, 99+% that we have no concept of, that is massive, miraculous, incredible, unbelievable, then we can, it's like we're primed for the miracles to happen. We're not just, the solopreneur, the renegade, the Dan Sullivan, strategic coach, he calls the person the
unique ability
term. No, it's like a renegade, but it's the rugged individualist. Yeah, that's the term he uses. The rugged individualist. Don't be the rugged individualist. It turns you into a not scalable business, but it also disconnects you from all the synchronicities and all the miracles and everything. Like, the universe conspires to make your dreams happen. That's also in the book, The Alchemist. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful theme from The Alchemist, that your personal legend, your big dreams are just waiting for you in the vortex, that you can start working towards those, and then the universe conspires to make it all happen for you. Yeah. It's such a great book. I love that book. I listened to it, the audiobook version. It's read by the actor Jeremy Irons. What a fantastic book. He wrote it in 12 days.
Wow. 12 days. That means being productive.
It's not just productive. He was tapped in. Right. He said that the book was already written, essentially, and he was just accessing it. Yeah. And it sold 150 million copies.
Wow. Stunning. Really. It just mentioned something, I think, important that we often, I think, forget, is we are a collective body of beings, and we see as separate beings, but we are one body of beings. And if you just look to nature, how animals behave, like fish or birds or other animals, they pretty much, they act together, in as a group. And we many times, maybe because we think we reason and we have consciousness, we can disconnect from others and take individual decisions that are not beneficial for the group, but for our own, they are. And we are disconnecting, and we miss the bigger picture, that in this planet, we are bound to win together. We are a group here. We are a team, the human team, and actually, all beings are together. But I would just talk about the human beings, and we don't see the greed. We don't see the individualism we see in human beings, in other animals, and they just take action together, and they are connected, and they have better results. Even dolphins in groups, they can beat a shark. For just an example that just came to my mind, but they act as a group, and we can exceed, and we do, but sometimes we just miss the point, or just going, the easy way and being selfish. But I believe that's a belief here. It's our journey to learn and to grow and to expand into higher levels of energy. So we are on our way.
Yeah. And how do you reconcile all this amazing, beautiful the synchronicity and the miracles and this magic, the quantum world, being the observer of your slice of the multiverse, and thus having co-creation abilities, all this amazing spiritual stuff. How do you reconcile that with the technical left brain, very cut and dried aspects of SEO and online marketing? Yeah, there's a lot of creativity, but there's a lot of just kind of mind-numbing left brain stuff, running reports, fixing mistakes and hreflang tags and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's almost like two different worlds to many people. But we're not. It's not this concept of work-life balance, left brain, right brain. You're balancing the two. Life is the overarching thing, and then work is part of it. The creativity and the connection to your creator and to all that is, and everyone here, that is the bigger picture. And then there's one aspect to it, which is I need to run a screaming frog crawl on the site to look for mistakes and things like redirect chains or 302s that should be 301s and all sorts of geeky stuff like that.
Yeah. It's a great question because it's very practical, combining both worlds now. I think we need a bigger picture and we need to be present with that. And then when we have to do the geek thing and fix the on-page errors and sometimes they can be so silly, but they need to be fixed. And maybe they were necessary for someone in the team to learn, or even the client to be aware of something that was could be avoided or could happen to their website. That again, the paranoia, that was the warning sign from the universe that, okay, you have these errors and you can fix it and improve the website and go to the next level. Of course, on-page errors, they happen all the time. Usually when they create content, creation content team creates, they are not thinking about SEO, and then, okay, SEO team needs to fix those. But besides that, they can be an opportunity for growth for everyone involved. So I think seeing that from that perspective, and that in most of times people don't make mistakes by will. They happen because it was meant to be, as you mentioned before. And we all like that people are tolerant with us. And right now we are, I think, navigating a time where tolerance is not quite used. But we all love tolerance, but I think we need to be the ones to use tolerance at first. So being tolerant with others. And okay, we have to fix these errors, and sometimes the error reports can be so long and messy, and especially in the bigger websites, and it takes a lot of time, but it's our job. So we are serving that company, that website, that business that can help other people. And I think that's a kind of reconciliation between these two worlds.
Yeah. For me, every client call I have, every prospect call, every podcast interview, every project I'm working on, deliverable, audit, whatever it is, I am thinking also, how do I reveal light? I'm thinking about revealing light and not just doing a good job. So that changes the outcome, and that changes how I interact with whatever, client and whatever resource or tool that I'm engaging with. It also brings in more of the synchronicities.
Right.
So,
You're
yeah,
you're
really
you're
cool.
tapping into that special energy that is not like just I'm doing because I need to do. You're tapping into a higher purpose of serving, of helping, and the outcome will be different indeed. It can be because it's a higher energy, higher vibration. So then synchronicities show up to tell you that most of times also, and maybe this client will be so satisfied, word of mouth, so maybe he will handle your next client that you change your life, or it would be something that you always wanted to serve that company, but you didn't have any chance to, that's how the world unfolds in mysterious ways. But when you're align it with that and we stay present, things happen much more often and with elegance, with beauty, and brings us joy.
Yeah. So it changes the field. Our additional level of awareness, our awareness of our awareness, that changes the unified field, and that thus changes everybody and everything that it touches, which is all, because we're all connected. And it's just a fun little example from earlier in the week. So, Dr. Joe Dispenza, of Dr. Joe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he does his advanced retreats, the week-long retreats.
Right.
Very hard to get into. They sell out within minutes. There are thousands of people who register within minutes of the tickets going on sale, and then you can't get in. So I just happened to catch that the tickets were going to go on sale for Cancun, the Cancun intensive. And we're thinking about going ourselves, but it just doesn't work timing wise, and we wouldn't have a babysitter and stuff. But a couple of people I know are going because I found out about that little window of time where the tickets were going to go on sale on Tuesday at 1 p.m. So a former client and a friend of mine, I told him about it. He registered and got in, and then he messaged me right after, like 3 minutes after the hour, I got my ticket, and he sent me a screenshot. Like, awesome! I'm so happy for. And that was a further nudge, or like a little reminder, like, oh, wait a second, I'm part of this other mastermind called Metal, and there's a Wim Hof breathing group I'm part of, and most of the people that are part of that are also into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. I should post to the WhatsApp group for that little group. And I did. And it was still, the tickets were still on sale. It was a few minutes after the hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the founder of that, Neil Cannon, great guy, author of The Vitality Secret, he registered. He's based in Mexico at the moment. And he's like, I've been trying to get in for so long to these retreats, and you made it happen. Like, I got and he sent me a screenshot. Like, I'm just the delivery person that was meant for him. And that was such a cool thing to see. And there were several other people that got in because of my posting to the WhatsApp group. But that wasn't initially who I thought of. I thought of a couple of different clients. I sent them the heads up. And then there was the afterthought from the person I mentioned who registered and sent me the screenshot right away. So yeah, we have a huge ripple effect. We have no idea how much our ripple effect spreads around the world. Changes lots of lives.
Right. And that's a cool story. And I'm sure they'll be so excited to join the event. And it's a life-changing event. And, you're the link for them to the event. And that's something that I'm sure when they come back, they will remember that because it's hard to get in, and you just work it out for them, and they will love for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I learned from the book "You Were Born for This," I mentioned that a little earlier in our conversation, is if you want to deliver miracles, be the kind of the pizza delivery guy or gal for God's miracles. Not only is it important to ask, say, "Here I am, please send me," but it's also important after the miracle has happened and the person's so grateful and they think you're amazing and everything, transfer the credit. That wasn't me. I'm just the messenger.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about me. Even saying I am the messenger, I'm just the messenger, makes it still about you, right? So you're special because you're a messenger of God. No, transfer the credit fully.
Yeah.
It's not me. Like, this was meant for you. That event was meant for you. That video of the lady who is spontaneously and miraculously healed, and just happened to be, the person who, like, it was from your same hometown or whatever it was, that was meant for you. That's
Right.
not me. It's, God just works through all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, this person, Lauren, I just got the pictures this week from the group, and she resumed walking again. So like a couple of months after she's walking. So yeah, the miracle happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That inspires and gives us a sense of as you mentioned, just being the channel, just being the way, and we can all be for each other, to this higher power, this higher energy to manifest. And there is so much of everything that is enough for everyone if you just allow that to happen. We are learning. If we look back to our history, we are still pretty young as civilization. We did some good progress, and there's some more to do. We are on our way. We used to see everything from this lifetime perspective, and but if we shift that and go into a longer period of time, and it's not just about us, it's about everyone, and that has ever been here, and everyone that is coming, it changes a bit the perspective, and it's a relief, and it's a hope, message of hope, and also of trusting in this outcome and how the universe is unfolding in the best way for every one of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even when it doesn't feel that way, it is. We just haven't zoomed out enough to see the bigger picture across all lifetimes and across all timelines and all the benefits of these learnings. It can be painful, but it's all for our highest and best good ultimately.
Yeah. It's funny, you just mentioned the zoom out. It just came to my mind, zooming in also. And then it came to my mind usually after core updates. And there are some fluctuations, and some clients, maybe they're not so experienced with that. They freak out, and their businesses are dramatically impacted, sometimes positively, sometimes not. And then we have to work. And I mean, we know the basics. We have the work that must be done we know the practitioners, serious people know how to do that. And so you have to, be a kind of psychologist here and calm down things and put things in perspective. Okay, we can get back, and it will be better. And so zoom in, zoom out also.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this was really fun and took a different direction. I thought we were going to spend more time talking about international SEO and multilingual issues and stuff when you're dealing with SEO and marketing. So yeah, I think this was a fantastic, just powerful conversation, beautiful conversation, elegant, meaningful, and we'll have to save the multilingual SEO stuff for another time.
Sure. Let's say today we approach it universal language. Maybe next time we can talk about international languages.
Yeah, right.
It was great.
The universal language, which is love.
Yeah.
That's all there is. It's all love.
Right. We can all feel that.
All right. Yeah. Well, this was fun. This was really fun. So how does our listener or viewer get in touch with you, work with you, learn from you? Where should they go?
They can visit our website, sgarbi.eu, which is sgarbi.eu, sgarbi.eu, and you can just send a message from there, and we will get in touch with you. For SEO, as you mentioned, we work with websites with multi languages across the world, and which can be challenging sometimes because search engines don't behave the same way in different countries, and from there we can discuss about customers' needs.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ticiano, and listener. I hope you're inspired. Do something with it. Make the world a better place. We'll catch you on the next episode. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.